put on a scrotum. Does anybody actually find that attractive? I don't know. I mean, not really for me. I don't think... Absolute state on me right now. I really try and not talk down on myself anymore. It's something I learned in therapy not to do. I'm very aware of it, I'm very careful of it, because you're not going to badmouth yourself, because it obviously makes you feel down, but my god, I feel like I'm very echoey tonight, I don't know why. Birthday week is still ongoing, very much so. It's killed me off. I wasn't even that drunk the whole time, but I just feel so very tired. And the eating, guys. I quite literally ate a French fancy, some cake that the girls got me, a lush birthday cake. I've eaten a French fancy, cake, sweets, and leftover takeaway right before I recorded this episode. The fact I've put a pair of jeans on is nothing short of a miracle. I was like, I'm just going to put my sweats on and then we're going to go for a run. Hasn't happened. Anyway, welcome. Hope you're all doing well. I already know that by the end of the podcast, my mood will perk up and I'll feel better about myself, and it won't matter what I look like, so I'm just going to be having a grand old time. So yeah, let's just go straight into it, shall we? Okay, the story I've got this week is kind of like a story, question, dilemma. It's very much still ongoing. It's a long one, but yeah, let's just start. Hey Sadie, I need to vent and get something out. I can't talk to my friends about it and I thought of you. Hope you don't mind. Hope I don't mind. That made my day, love. That made my day. This is what we're here for. And also, isn't it weird how sometimes you feel like you can't speak to your friends about stuff? You can speak to them about everything, but sometimes there's certain things, especially if it's with a guy, all those memes and you're lying to your friends. Oh my god, I'm going on a segue already, so I've just remembered, right? I just remembered, I've been on about my on and off ex, that relationship I had, but basically it was the same thing, right? I was going to meet up with him and I was like, I can't tell my friends because they're going to be like, what are you doing? Do we really need to go for around 18 with this guy? So I didn't tell anyone, right? And we were meeting up and he came to meet me where I lived, not my flat or anything. Until later that night, obviously. But he came to meet me in my area and I was meeting him in the train station, right? So my friend and her boyfriend left before. Oh, sorry. I literally have alarms going off 15 times a day to remind me of certain things to do for this podcast. Honestly, you have no idea. I'm 9 o'clock, I need to post on YouTube. I need to do this. 5 o'clock, this. Drives Matt mad. Anyway. Oh my god, the segues already, sorry. What was I saying? So they left. They were going to the cinema, right? He's in the train station. They walk to the train station, bump into each other, and my friend's completely oblivious. Oh my god, fancy seeing you here. We live here now. And he's like, yeah, I know. Has Sadie not told you? I'm here to see her. Next thing you know, I get a text off my friend. You sneaky little bitch. What are you doing? Did you think I wouldn't find out? I was like, oh god. But yeah, funny that sometimes you just keep secrets. They never stay secret though with your friends. Not if you got my friends anyway. Okay, sorry, back to the story. I met my ex 15 years ago. I was 20, him 29. Red flag. We were together for 3 years and lived together. One night we were home with his 10-year-old daughter and he said, I've got to go and help a friend out. I told him, no problem, text me when you're there. The text never came. Firstly, I'd be like, are you alive? He's being murdered. There's been a murder. Oh my god, I'm never going to do a Scottish accent ever again. It actually made me cringe. My soul left my body. He didn't come back until 3 p.m. the next day. 3 p.m? And sorry, he's also left her with his 10-year-old daughter, which I get if you're living together, you're being stepmom, but still, you can't just leave a child and not tell the other, caregiver That was absolutely wild. And genuinely I would be so worried that like something really bad had happened. If like my boyfriend or my friend were like, oh, I'm just going to go out and help a friend, and then I never like heard from them and they didn't come home, I would be like really worried something bad happened. He told me not to give him any crap on where he had been all night, and so I didn't. That's sad. And do you know what? That's because you're young and you're 20 and you're still a child, and like that's what happens, and that's why he's with you at 29. I'm making bold assumptions 5 sentences into this story, but that's what I'm getting. That's what my gut's telling me. I scream at myself now for that, but I was of the mindset to not rock the boat where he might leave me instead of thinking of my worth. That makes me really sad. But at least you can like acknowledge it now, like you were young, so don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, so we get to the day before Christmas Eve and my phone is bust, so I use one of the old phones in the house and put my SIM card into it to find messages. I wish you didn't have to leave. Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again, etc. Oh my god, nothing worse, imagine. I confronted him about it. He apologised, begged me not to leave. I stayed because it was Christmas and I didn't want to ruin anything for his daughter. How sweet are you? I should have just packed up and left him to deal with it. I just think that says a lot about you. Like most people, or not most people, but like lots of people, I think of people that like stay in situations like that as weak, or even you yourself feel like, oh god, this is weak that I'm staying. But actually like staying in a situation like that and looking past it for the sake of a child makes you so much stronger. Like almost like the weaker thing, not you could ever blame you, but like, you know, the worst thing would be to just storm out like the day before Christmas Eve. Like the fact you stayed there for that little girl just says like such good things about you and your character. I feel it's given is her name Emma Thompson? You already know what I'm gonna say. In Love Actually, when she finds the necklace, she finds the necklace and then the gift is in the necklace. And she goes and cries, but then she comes back down and takes the kids to the concert and doesn't say anything. There's just some shit that mothers do that I just don't think you even realise you have the strength for until you birth a child. And then I think it just like brings out this like superhuman behaviour. Okay, then she said, things came to a head on New Year's Eve and I left. And I guarantee that was worse for you, because then you would have had to have left on New Year, which is like very sad and very dramatic. And oh my god, New Year's Eve alone and split up, that must have been hard. He ended up marrying the girl he cheated with, which hurt. We literally had this on last week's episode where he married her. But I'm saying like last week I was like, you know, because I think she was happy last week's story with somebody else, I could almost see like the romantic side to it all. But this is sadder, like that would really hurt. I started questioning why he wasn't good enough. He tried to keep in contact early on. Why the fuck I married someone else then? And I let him, but I needed to get away, so I got a job working in Disney World, Florida. And left. I'm sorry, what better way to get over a breakup than go and work in Disney? Like the happiest place on earth where you quite literally can't be sad. What an amazing call. Jesus Christ. He actually came to Florida with his daughter and tried to meet up with me. Sorry, are you not married, sir? What was the point of you marrying somebody else? This is like why I can't wrap my head around with people. And this is why sometimes I'm like, do men feel pressure to get married? Because every man you ask will say no, yet they just pop in engagements off left, right and centre and then having affairs on the side with their exes. What's the point? What was the reason? I was planning on going until a friend turned up at my door and semi-kidnapped me to stop me. Fair enough. He then turned up at my place of work with his daughter and wife. Oh no. So that means he's literally seen that this woman is working in Disney. And then he's gone to his wife and his daughter and been like, surprise, guess where we're going to go? Disney World, Florida. And they are like besides themselves with excitement, thinking, oh my god, what a wonderful man who's done this for us. When actually it's a ploy so we can just rock up and go and see his ex. We cheated on with for you. I don't know if that's confusing wording, but you know what I'm saying. Where's the like common sense there and the moral dignity and code? It was the 4th of July, and rather than celebrate, I was just a mess. Fucking New Year's Eve, 4th of July, Christmas. This man is like literal Scrooge. I came home around 15 months later and started seeing a guy and got pregnant. The relationship didn't work out, but I love my daughter and she changed me for the better. That's good. His dad doesn't have any contact. Being a dad wasn't on the cards for him, and that's okay. Wow, hun, that's a very strong statement to say, and well done for just... Wow, I feel like that's really unusual to just be like, it wasn't on the cards for him and that's okay. That's like a really impressive statement, I feel. I moved to be closer to my mum and I lost about 6 stone in weight and felt great. I went back home one weekend for a friend's 30th and my ex was there. It was a great night, to be fair. We were like best friends, laughed all night. He asked could he drive me back to my place so we could catch up. Catch up, in inverted commas that I'm putting in there. We all know what that means. You don't need to drive to a different town for a catch up. You could have caught up in the party, so let's not kid ourselves here. I said yes. He drove me home. I know I should have said no, but it just felt right. We kissed, but nothing more, and realised instantly we shouldn't have done it. I mean, you realise that he obviously knew what he was doing. No man is like driving you to a different place, which is quite far, I think, if he doesn't want anything. That's what I've learned about like the male species in general, that everything has got an ulterior motive. Especially when it comes to people they want to have sex with. Also, I do find it very awkward in a car to not kiss somebody. Like, there's nothing more awkward to me. I remember getting picked up for a date before and the guy bought me flowers and it was really nice, and getting in was fine. Getting out, it's just like, I don't know if it's because there's so many films of it, but then when you're sitting there in that moment, you're in one seat, he's in the other, there's nothing to separate you other than the gear stick, which could be used in pleasuresome, I don't even know what that's a word, in pleasuresome ways if needed. Doesn't even need to be an obstacle, you know what I'm saying. These seats recline, we all know they do, and the sexual tension in a car builds, but there's nothing more awkward if you don't want it. That's right, that was my experience. I didn't want that, but you're in such close proximity to somebody, and I think, like I said, because it's in so many films and stuff, like The Goodbye, very, very awkward. Although I don't feel like pick-up in cars in London is as common because not as many people drive. But I did have another guy actually I went on a date with, right? This is not even related to the story, sorry. But he picked me up, and I'm not joking, I opened the car door and a waft of vape smoke flew out. And I'm going back like 5 years maybe, ballpark, 4 years, before vapes were even like a thing. They were very new on the market then. I'm not even convinced they were called vapes. I don't know, they probably were, but you know what I mean. It was like he was in a music video, but like rather than like actual cigars, it was vape smoke, and he just kept blowing it in my face all night, and I was like, this is no from me. No offence to the vapors out there, I know it's much more common now, and I also don't feel like as much smoke comes out. I honestly couldn't believe how much smoke came out of this car. I opened the door and it just like hit me in the face as if I was like getting into a car with Snoop Dogg. It was wild. Anyway, we kept in touch. He said he wished he could turn back time and shouldn't have done what he did, and wishes he was with me. It was great to hear, but could have just been words. I ended up moving back to Manchester as I didn't know anyone but my mum where I was living, and I missed my friends. He joked and said I was moving back for him, and if I'm being honest, a tiny part of me was, but a very, very small part. Again, I think that's like fair enough, especially like if you think this person is, you know, the one for you and he's so apologetic for what he's done, then you are probably thinking, okay, we can have a second chance, because that happens to so many people. Like, they break up and then they come back together, and then when they do, like, it's so much better and they get married and stuff. After gradual talking and texting, we met up and things led to probably what we both knew was going to happen. And every part of me knew it was wrong. I'm sorry, is he still married? Is this man still married? And what was the point of getting married? What was the point? Like, I will never understand that. Especially as a guy, because you have to buy the ring. If I was in, there'd be no chance I'd be spending money on a ring and going through that whole rigmarole when I knew deep down I didn't want to get married to this person. And what a waste of money. He probably just did it for the stag. I kept thinking that this was all meant to be. We were made for each other. We were going to be together and we were the couple that would make it work. I think like everyone would think that. He told me that he was ending things but was worried about losing his house as it was his mum's and she sadly passed away. I just feel like the people that have these affairs, the only reason they're not breaking up is always something to do with the house or the kids. And I mean, the kids I can understand. But the house, once again, mate, don't get married then. Don't get married if you're that worried about the house. And well, actually, I don't know how it works. I'm not going to go into legal terms. I was like, don't put a name on it, but I don't know if that makes a difference anyway. But I don't know, like, are people genuinely afraid of losing it? Oh, I suppose you would be afraid, actually. Oh my God, I swear, like, if I ever get married, I'm going to do a prenup. For what? I don't know, because I own nothing. But when you read stories like this, you're like, shit, you actually should do prenups. Although it's not very romantic. And I'm also not rich, so maybe it wouldn't be worth it for me. I'd be like, if we ever divorce, I'm taking back my camera and my makeup and my bags and my jewellery and my shoes. That's where all my money is. Okay, sorry. He told me that he had spoken to a solicitor and his dad is going to help buy her out. He had never met my daughter. I wanted to wait, but he was really caring about her, always asking how she is, what she likes, and couldn't wait to start a real relationship with her and be there for her. His eldest daughter was pregnant, and he was saying how I would be part of that and be Nana if that's what I wanted. I'm sorry, immediately no. Immediately no thanks, mate. I will pass. How about you bring me like some nice gifts, maybe a donut or a cupcake or a little end of day skin on skin hug. I love that when you're both topless and you just feel the skin. Skin on skin is very important to me. How about that? That's all I need. I don't need to be a nana yet, please. Is there anything less attractive than being a grandma at, how old was she? She does say 34. A 34-year-old grandma would terrify me. I would not be qualified for that. Although actually she's a mom. She's a mom. I feel like if you're a mom, you can be ready to be a grandmom. But I'm funny. Nobody be calling me Nana. That's where I draw the line. I'd be like your step grandma, but you can still call me like, I don't know, lady, or like what's Kris Jenner called? Lovey. Like my mother goes by Ninny. Like there's not going to be any word Nana thrown about here because Nana's giving me like Mrs. Doubtfire looks, like in the long skirts and the grey little curlers. I don't think I can ever be a Nana. I really don't. I just don't see that in my vision in my future. She says, now don't get me wrong, thinking of being a Nana at 34 was scary. Oh, I'm an awful person. For fuck's sake, why don't I like read these stories out before I make my jokey judgments? For fuck's sake. Being a nana at 34 was scary, but his daughter had lost her mum a few years back, and he thought how amazing it would be for me to be there for them. I'm an awful person. That is super sweet, and I can understand it, and for that, if she wanted to call me Nana, by all means, she could call me Nana. My God, my bad. Just forget that didn't happen when I was making those jokes. We talked about getting married and what it would look like, where we would go on holiday, maybe travel America. I was literally on cloud 9 and it just gave me more reason to think this is it. I mean, you wouldn't you? You'd be thinking like a mistake happened in the past and now you're ready to go fully in. It's given like, that old episode of Sex and the City where Samantha meets up with her ex. It's like very early on, so I can't even remember the guy's name. And he's saying, we can go to the Hamptons in the summer, we can do this, we can do that, and then he ghosts her. And she says, like, I've been weird. He stands her up. She's actually in the restaurant and she stood up, I think it's the same one. But he was just like, we can do this, we can do that. And actually, I think that is a red flag, not in this story at all, because obviously it's her ex and you absolutely would believe that, because this man, like, cheated, has been asking for forgiveness this whole time, cheating on you with his wife, and is saying about the future. So that isn't a red flag, to be fair. Like, I would believe that, because, like, why wouldn't you? Why would somebody fight for you that much if they weren't serious about it? But I do think it's a red flag if, like, you just start getting with somebody and they are like, we this, we that. When I was younger, right, I'm on this date back home with this guy, and oh my god, it made me cringe so much. And I'm so, like, proud of myself, because I was young, I was only like 19, but I could see through it. We were in the car, and I think it was my car, I picked him up, and we were driving. He was like, oh, look how nice that house is there, we couldn't live somewhere like that. And I was like, oh, if you think this is going to work on me, mate, you're thinking very wrong. It's our first date. I know I'm never marrying you or moving into that house for you. And if you think that's going to make me, like, kiss you or sleep with you, you genuinely couldn't be more wrong. If anything, it's put me off you. So that is a red flag if somebody's like that early doors. Okay, sorry, back to the story. He went working away for a period of time and he seemed to be really distant. I put it down to the time difference because it was 8 hours between us. But when he got back, things were the same. I questioned it, but he assured me all was okay. It was his birthday, so I planned a nice night for us, but he stood me up and seemed to go AWOL for the 3 days. Sorry, who do you think you are to stand me up on your birthday? After I've made bare plans and spent this money on you, and you were going to stand me up? The audacity, the gumption. I would never do that to somebody. I'd feel so guilty. Also, and it's very interesting, it's like, what happened on that trip? Like, what happened for it to suddenly switch? Let's hope we find out. We do. He came crying on my doorstep and admitted to sleeping with a prostitute while he was away. I mean, was that necessary? Because I'm not hearing anywhere in the story, not that this condones it at all, but I'm not hearing that they were unhappy. I'm not hearing that they weren't sleeping together. I'm hearing he wants me to be a grandma. He wants me to be in his life. We're going to travel around America. I'm hearing lies if that's the case. Like, was there really need to go to prostitutes? That would be... I don't know if I've got, like, many deal breakers. I think generally I'm very much, like, case-by-case person. But somebody sleeping with a prostitute behind my back, like, really doesn't sit right with me. Like, at all. That would really hurt me. And also he slept with a girl that he met on his birthday, a barmaid from a pub that he goes to. Oh my god, what? Like, why do some people like this? Like, this is clearly what he's like as a person, and usually I'm like, you know, there's different circumstances, but this guy, like, look at the history of shit he's done. I just feel like this is what he's like until he has, like, some sort of groundbreaking experience that he needs to go through himself. She said, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. We were 10 years past where it happened for the first time. 10 years. And in a flash, I was back in the same position, heartbroken. Oh my god, that makes me sick. I should have known, and what we were doing, I probably deserved it. No, you did not. But I loved him and I thought we were meant to be. Like, do not talk down on yourself and do not put blame on yourself, because there's absolutely no way you were to know that. Like, you were younger than him, you thought he was the one, he messed up once and then really made it feel like it was a big mistake and he was coming back for you. Like, do not be harsh on yourself. You actually haven't done anything wrong there. Like, you actually haven't, especially, like, because, this is going to sound really, like, petty, but, you know, he cheated on you with a woman and now you're just doing it back. Like, this is, do you know what I mean? I feel like it's an understanding situation, so you really don't need to be down on yourself there. I cut all ties there and then. 6 months later, oh my god, can this guy get a break, like? He showed up on my doorstep, telling me he had done it, left her, and that he is sorry. I slammed the door in his face, thank God. I didn't believe him or anything he had ever said to me. I had spent time working on myself and felt great. But here I am today, starting thinking about things, and unblocked him on Facebook. No, never unblock. Keep those people blocked for a reason. To see that it wasn't a lie. They have split and now he was with someone new. I'm so angry that he didn't try hard enough. Not that my answer would have been any different, but if he loved me like he said he did and he wanted that future, he just gave up, didn't try to show me that it was real, and it was so easy to just walk away. It's not that I would want to be with him, I just don't know why it bothers me so much and I'm this angry. Sorry to fill inbox for this on a Tuesday. As I said, friends would roll their eyes, my mum would probably kick my ass for even mentioning his name. This last paragraph makes me so sad, because I think you can all understand what she's feeling. But can I just say, social media and stuff will make it seem so nice. I can guarantee that he's doing the same thing again. Well, I can't guarantee it, but you have to remember that the type of person he is, and also you've gone through this for 10 years with him, and he's just not your person. I just think when you're going through this shit, I think relationships are so hard. I never really knew how hard they were until I got with Matt. Because, I don't know, you live with somebody, things get more serious, marriages are hard, and I think relationships are so hard that the start of them should be the easiest part, and you had so many starts there over and over again, but each time they were difficult and there was somebody else involved all the time. And I just think getting together, that should just be the easy part. So to go through 10 years of slog like that, of on and off, it's just too much hard work. And yeah, all I will say is, he's not your person. Somebody to put you through that over and over again, more fool him. Let him be. Forget about him. 100% block him. We've all been there. We've all been there with an unblock, but I just think if you've blocked somebody in the first place, there's a reason for it. I've got a nice little list of blocked people now in my Instagram, in my WhatsApps. I went through a really savage phase in WhatsApp of blocking people. Anyone, I just went through a really savage phase. If you annoy me, I'd be block. And they're all there. I have a nice little collection, and that is where they'll be staying. Because if we've blocked them, there's a reason for it, and it's just better leaving things in the past, for sure. Anyway, guys, as usual, I'm just going to come in with a quick interlude. If you're not following me, or if you're not subscribed already, then please do so. I did my giveaway last week, so I had lots more messages off you and lots more followers, and it was really good to see. So keep it coming, because as I always say, the more followers we get, the more people it'll go out to, and then the more stories we get, which is obviously what we need. So yeah, thank you as always for your support, but please do leave me a review and a follow, because I need it every single week. Oh my god, I have to tell you what happened to me earlier, right? Front on a scrotum. Does anybody actually find that attractive? I was on the tube earlier, and I don't know why today of all days was absolutely rammed on the tube. Sometimes the tube just, oh my god, it's just absolutely disgusting. If you're in London, Anyway, it was one of those tube journeys where you're sardines, yeah? And, oh, I felt so bad. This was in the morning, right? So it was literally on my morning commute. A guy gets off, and then everyone's this bumping. He goes to get off, and the full side of my freshly made up face went this and banged his white shirt. And I just know he got off that tube and had a massive makeup patch on him. I just know. I know because it's all over matte. If I had game off, I lie on him, makeup. You know it's if you're a girl, you take your t-shirt off, there's makeup over your face, and I was oh my god, I've ruined his day. It's not even 9 a.m. He's got to go to work with makeup on his shirt, and then God forbid if he has to go home to a girlfriend or a wife with makeup on his shirt. And also he didn't notice. So I couldn't even like look at him and apologise or try and make a joke, you know, try and lighten the mood. He didn't notice. It was only me that knew the repercussions of that face bang. It was just like, doof. And as soon as I did, I was like, oh my God, all my bronzer's going to be on his face, on his shirt. I felt so guilty. It's like old school face, and he's going to go home. His girlfriend's going to be like, why have you got makeup on your shirt? He's going to be like, he's not even going to know, which will be the worst part. He won't even be able to come up with the truth or a lie, because he's not even going to realise what happened to him. Because I think boys are like a little bit oblivious to it, because they don't know, like, makeup comes off so easy. It'll be all over my hands. It's all over the doors. Like, you know, when I do my makeup and then I go to open the door, it'll be all down the side of the door handle. Look, it's all over my phone case, it's over my bags. Like, it just gets everywhere. But he's going to be like blissfully unaware of that, and he's going to be like, I don't know, and he's going to be fumbling, and I could be responsible for a divorce, guys. And that doesn't sit lightly with me. If you're listening to this and your boyfriend's come home with makeup on, I think it was the right side of his shirt on on a Tuesday, then hit me up. I'll confirm what station it was, and I'll just confirm if it was me or if it was indeed somebody else's. I actually said to Matt the other week, I think it was, or like the other month, it was ages ago, because he's mixed race and I'm white, and you know, like sometimes you see those memes, and not even just of like interracial couples, but sometimes you'll see the memes of like a more tanned girl, and where they like kiss their boyfriend's face, all their makeup's over their face. Like, have you seen them, or like those club ones where and there's lipstick and that? And I said to Matt, I was like, my makeup's never over your face though. It's like weird, and you can never see it. And he said, yeah, you can. He was like, sometimes at night, after, you know, he's like, I'll just go back into the bathroom, and that, he said, that's when I'll see it. And obviously that's when I don't see it, because it's dark. I was like, oh, sorry, I thought for some reason I was immune to that, even though it comes off everywhere else. He's like, no, it's always all over my face. He's like, I have big white patches on my face. I was like, oh, sorry. Okay, so I feel like with that story earlier, there was lots of like, he's done this and he's come back and he's saying this to me, and then he flew out, and like there's all these things that you think, like, are they a big deal? Which obviously, like, to you like, certain people would like see people doing those for them and be like, it's a big deal, he wants to get with me. So I've got some for us. Let me know in the comments what you think. I've already done a poll. This is actually from a while back. But let me know in the comments if you agree or not with these, or if you've got any others that you think are a big deal. Introducing someone to your parents. 95% said big deal. I think this is a big deal, although I've introduced every boyfriend to my parents. Even like some people only introduce you to their parents if like they think you're going to get married and stuff. Like, I'm not that far with it. I don't think it's that big a deal. But it definitely obviously is a big deal. It wouldn't just take somebody random, would do. Although I do remember my ex taking a girl that he was dating to meet his father, and we were friends at the time, and he like really wasn't that interested in her seriously, and was like messaging me, and I literally said to him, I was like, you don't know, by doing that she's going to think that's like a really special thing, and it literally means nothing to you, and you should probably clear that up because awkward. Oh my God, I actually have so many parents introductory stories. I do remember meeting one ex's family, and it was very, very formal, and thinking, oh shit, this is like my family are like chill, like you'll come back, I'm from the valleys, so it's like, no, you know, everything's very relaxed. But I did meet an ex's family once, and it was very serious and formal, and I was like, oh my God, I'm being roped in for marriage here. I think I'm just going to end today on my stories though, and I'm just going to move swiftly past, because I actually have a lot, I don't know why. Going away for the weekend with someone you're dating, big deal or no biggie? I think no biggie, but the poll here says 70% big deal. I don't think that's a big deal at all. I'll go away for a weekend, as long as I know you're not going to like sexually assault me and or kill me. That's my biggest thing. If I feel safe around you, not that anyone thinks that that's going to happen to them, otherwise they wouldn't put themselves in that situation. I'm not saying that. But like, what I mean is like, if I've got any red flags for safety, I'm not going to go. But if I think, like you say, if I'm all for a weekend away. My first weekend away with a guy from London, I literally went away. And as we were leaving the next day going to the car, I think I've said this story before, I was like, you do realise this doesn't mean anything though, and like it's not serious, and it doesn't mean we're going to get together. And he was like, oh, okay then. Sorry, my laptop battery just went, if you feel like this sounds very different or very choppy. But yeah, he was like, oh, okay then. Must have sounded like such a bitch. So yeah, that's definitely not a big deal for me. Okay, having the exclusive talk, definitely a big deal. I mean, that's the whole point of like the next step, innit? So yeah, that also went on the poll. Meeting each other's friends, this was 60-40 for big deal. I don't think it's a biggie. I remember I said before that there was like a couples therapist that I heard in a podcast saying like you should get the people you're dating to meet your friends really early on, because it's like a real test of how you can work as a couple. So yeah, we should probably like introduce friends to our partners early on. I also think your friends have like a really good idea of what's good for you. Like, you always break up with someone and they're like, I knew he wasn't right for you. Okay, then I asked you guys for more suggestions of big deals. So the first one said taking your first picture together. I think that is a big deal, because it's also like a little bit embarrassing in it at first, and like cringe. Like if somebody goes to take a picture of me on a first date, I'm always like, I just think it's a red flag. Midweek dates, big deal. And this is funny because like when I first moved and I was like a hardcore party girl, I would only do midweek dates because I was like, my weekend is for going out and meeting new people, and I'm definitely not giving up Saturday night to go on a date. But I'm older and I'm like corporate girly. I just haven't got the stamina anymore for midweek dates. If I go out on a Tuesday or Wednesday now, it kills me for the rest of the week. If I'm seeing you on a Tuesday for a date, it's going to have to be like a 6 to 8 p.m. start with a couple of drinks, maybe even a lunchtime coffee break. If I go out on a Tuesday now and get drunk, I'm not recovering for the rest of the week. It will absolutely wipe me out. So I just can't do it anymore. When I was younger, I'd be out every night of the week, didn't matter. I'd see you on a Tuesday, I'd go out on a Wednesday, another date on a Thursday, date with my favourite guy on a Friday, out on a Saturday night, hangover on a Sunday. Maybe not quite to that extreme, but yeah, what a different time. Seeing each other naked for the first time, somebody said, that like should be a big deal. But obviously it's just not. Although, like, in the films, like, have you seen them when, like, the two people, the first time they sleep together, stand opposite each other and get undressed? I want to know how realistic that is for the first time. Like, standing opposite each other and staring at each other. I don't even think I'd find that attractive if a man, like, dropped trow in front of me before I slept with him. Because it's just, like, not the same for a girl. Like, I can appreciate a nice penis, like, with a shape, like when it's in my hands and stuff, or like on a picture, like when it's a selfie and it's on that angle. Front on, a scrotum, does anybody actually find that attractive? Just like with nothing else, just like stood there blatantly in front of you. I don't know. I mean, not really for me. I don't think it would do much for me. I'd actually probably be too embarrassed to even look at it in case it was a weird shape or something, and then I'd be like, oh my god, now I'm in too deep and I'm going to have to go ahead with it, but he's got a weird shape willy. Like, I would just avoid eye contact with it. So yeah, that would be a no from me. Please let me know if you've had any experiences to that, because I think it would be really funny. Somebody said meeting one another's dogs, which is very apt for the last few stories we have had. Because this was almost split 50-50 with some people saying it was a big deal. And we've had lots of stories, real time too, it felt like a lot, where partners were cheating and taking their dogs to meet like the other person. I disagree with that, big time. The kids and marriage chat, like 96% of this said big deal. I'm sorry, 4% of people said no biggie. And by people, I mean quite literally you guys, the people that follow the podcast Instagram. I class as more like hardcore fans because I've got hardly any followers on there. What 4% is saying this a no biggie, can I just say? You can have a general kids and marriage chat, but if somebody's telling me that they want to get married to me and it's a lie, I'd be absolutely fuming. So this is for anyone who's ever told me that. Matt, if you're listening, if you could hear me through the walls. Filming, like, it should be a big deal. Like, don't, no, what's the word? It's not love bomb. That's it. Don't be love bombing somebody with kids and marriage chat, because there's just no need for it. Right, okay. Sorry if I seem a little bit deflated this week. I feel like this episode and last episode, I feel like I've just been like tired, quite honestly, because it's just been so busy. So I've been recording at night times, and usually I record in the day. So if you can tell that my energy is different, will you please let me know, because I'll make an effort to not record in the nights and figure something else out, because sometimes I don't know if you can actually tell, or if it's just me, like, because I know I'm a little bit more tired. Now I've addressed it and probably just asking for hate comments, but still, we live and learn and grow together. Anyway, to end the episode, I thought I would do just a little short and sweet love story, like an actual love story. As always, if you have got one, please don't ever think it's boring, because I obviously do say like dramatic ones that are sad ones. But when I started the podcast, I did actually envision nice love stories every week. Looking back, I was probably a bit naive. But yeah, if you've got a nice love story, please send them to me, because I do absolutely love them. So that's how we're going to end this episode anyway. Okay, she says, I broke up with the father of my kids after 17 years. We had become like brother and sister. It's not a bad split, and we co-parent well. I then met a guy on Tinder. I didn't think much of him, but he chased me and we ended up together for 4 years. I ended it because things didn't add up with him and his finances. Then I met another guy. We are completely, I said that weird. Then I met another guy. We are completely and utterly opposites, but also so alike. I think, and I hope she means there by like morals, because I think I've spoken about this before, I think, on early days, when you can be like complete opposites to somebody in terms of what you like and what music you like and all that stuff. But like, I think as long as your values, like your core values and morals, but mainly values are the same, then I think it can work. Like, look at you with friends. Like, me and my friends always joke like that she's one way, I'm another way. But ultimately, if your values are the same, then a relationship can work, like with anyone. She said, I love him, he's kind, makes me laugh, and is very, very honest, as well as very handsome. You see, sometimes good comes out of bad. I've escaped the con man and found my true love. So that's nice. That's just like, kissing frogs until you reach your prince. So always a good way to end. There's always happy endings, whether you're with or without somebody. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you as always for listening. Please come give me a follow, subscribe, leave me a review. If you like the episode, share it with your friends. If you like a reel or a story, share it with your friends. Help me get the word out. As always, come and let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll speak to you next week.